Have you ever had a great idea, converted it into a success, but then one day it was no longer in demand? Have you ever seen something you thought at the time was a non-starter, but a few years later it became a huge success, much to your disbelief? If this has never happened to you, feel free to skip this episode and hope you'll come back for the next one. But if, like me, you often end up scratching your head about what becomes successful and what stays successful and for how long, stick around. In today's episode of No More Illusions, we'll reveal the difference between the flavor of the day type success versus long-term generational success, or to put it another way, one-hit wonder type artists versus artists who stay relevant for decades, like the Beatles, Bob Dylan, Jay-Z, or Taylor Swift. We'll share a way you can look at your own success to improve your chances of prolonging it and avoid becoming a one-hit wonder who always talks about the good old days instead of looking forward to the days of success that are here to stay. Welcome to No More Illusions. I'm your host, Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor. Barabasi's third law of universal success is future success is dictated by previous success multiplied by the fitness of your idea or product. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I'll say it once again. Future success is dictated by previous success multiplied by the fitness of your idea or product. So let's break it down. Two factors matter. Your past success, which is the visibility and credibility you've already earned. However, it's multiplied by fitness. In other words, how good the idea or product is. And the important point here is that fitness is not a single point in time. As time moves on, the fitness of your product may change. And if it becomes less fit, then you will experience less success. And if it becomes more fit or stays as fit, it will experience a similar level of success. So your idea or product needs to match what would be successful in that time rather than resting on those past successes, because then effectively you've only satisfied half of that success equation. Let's give an example that's somewhat relevant here. Let's say you have a popular podcast which attracts more listeners simply because it's already popular and everyone's telling their friends about it, the media is writing about it, and it's just going great. But then what happens when the audience of that podcast or the taste of audiences overall change and the topic and or delivery that made this podcast so successful is no longer what people want, so it's no longer fit. It doesn't excite them or capture their imagination the way it used to. But another podcast, which was much less popular, but still a good podcast, happens to have that magic combination for what audiences want today and goes on to become much more popular and successful than the other podcasts which used to be so much more successful. Again, future success is dictated by previous success multiplied by the fitness of your idea or product. And that means your past success does not guarantee your future success. It needs to continue, the product or idea needs to continue to be relevant and have fitness going forward. So what does that mean? What can we do if we have been successful and want to continue to be successful? It's important to take this action, to regularly assess the value of what you deliver and adjust accordingly. Because when you do so, the fitness of your idea or product will adjust to what is wanted by the market and others and will be higher performing, and you can continue to leverage that past success. So remember, the illusion is that past success guarantees future success. If you believe this, then you're going to have a tendency to just rest on your laurels and rely on your previous success and not really understand why suddenly one day in the future your success could totally evaporate, and not understand why maybe the idea or product you had that was such a great idea at the time isn't received at the same, with the same amount of excitement and engagement. When you understand this, you will be better able to leverage your past success over a longer period of time. And frankly, I find it much more interesting to learn and adapt rather than singing the same one-hit wonder over and over and hoping and wishing that people's tastes never change. If this resonated, I invite you to join the Connection Counselor newsletter, where I share reflections and practical ideas on work, people, and personal growth. Just go to my website, connectioncounselor.com, to subscribe. While you're there, you can also explore. I have various books I've written as well as audiobooks, and you can find them right there on the homepage. And if you're enjoying the show, please follow us on Spotify. It really helps. Lastly, if you've uncovered or have been thinking about an illusion that changed your life, or one that you think others need to know about, I'd love to hear about it. Reach out to me at joe@connectioncounselor.com. I read every message and genuinely appreciate your perspective. Thanks for listening to No More Illusions. I'm Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor. Remember, clarity reveals, illusion steals.